Welcome, everybody, and welcome to 4-Star Chicago Sports. This is the Barely There podcast, and the Bears are still in the win column as we head to Sin City and try and pick up back-to-back wins. Ben Johnson's first road victory. We're going to break that all down. On top of that, we got a panic-o-meter jumping out. We got 9 superstars that are struggling 3 weeks out of the blocks. We're going to try and talk you off the ledge, or maybe not. We're going to find out. We got our pick 6 standings, and we're going to take a look at the undefeateds. Who's real, who's not. We're going to get into it all. It's going to be a fun show. Stick around with us. Bet on everybody right after this.
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Alrighty, everybody. The Bears are on their way to Sin City. And how do we feel about this? We have a couple of boxes to check before we get into this ball game. Obviously, we're going to get into some injuries. We had some press conferences today. I don't know if you guys had a chance to take a look at those at all. I actually just did about 10 minutes before we went on because I actually forgot they were on today. But I did see that the nominations, there was 128 nominations for the 2026 Hall of Fame, the class of 26. 12 of them, my friends, are were former Chicago Bears, Thomas Jones, Brandon Marshall, Mushin Muhammad, Brandon Lloyd, Greg Olsen, Olin Kreutz, Reuben Brown, Josh Sitton, Jay Ratcliffe, Ted Washington, Lance Briggs, Charles Tillman. So out of this list, boys, before we move on, I think there's 2 guys on this list, maybe 4 on this list that I believe should be in there. Lance Briggs, Charles Tillman, Olin Kreutz, and Greg Olsen. I would give an honorary mention to Thomas Jones because he's one of my favorite Bears of all time. But on that list, how do you guys feel, man? What are you guys thinking? Any of these guys are going to make it in the class of 26?
Olin better make it, and I really honestly do believe that Peanut deserves it. I mean, Charles Tillman, they try to do his move now. He's got a move named after him. You got to be in the Hall of Fame for that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Olin Kreutz should definitely be in, and I think he's they talk about his heritage, where he came from. There's not that many. He should be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. He's also one of the best centers ever to play football. He's one of the meanest, nastiest players ever to play football. First, I agree with you 100%, Jason. I mean, we're still talking about the peanut punch 20 years later. I mean, this guy, you can't. There's no way to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. That's ridiculous.
Dude, he became an FBI agent after football.
He had the most forced. He's pretty sure he had the most forced fumbles of any player ever to play football. No, I mean that's a big deal. Yeah. You're creating turnovers. That's a huge deal. You're changing the game. He should definitely be in there. Greg Olsen, I don't think he'll be in there in this year, but Greg Olsen at some point should probably make it in. And then, I mean, the rest, all those guys, I don't know if any of them are necessarily like outside of
going as Bears.
Yeah, I don't know. And then Thomas Jones, I think he's top 30 on the all-time rushing list, so he should probably be in there as well. But I don't think it's going to be this season.
He's an actor now, isn't he?
He is an actor. He's on BET shows. So he hangs on my wall of fame. I love Thomas Jones. I really, really hope that he gets in there. And, Greg Olsen, I see you screw Greg, laugh out loud.
What do you got against Greg Olsen, Mikey?
Yeah, Greg Olsen, from all accounts I know. I mean, Jay and I met him one time, and he was kind of a dick. But
he's also a rookie.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone has a bad day, but everything I know about him, he's a pretty good, solid dude. So a lot of charity, a lot of stuff that he still does in and around the Chicago community, helping children with handicaps and things of that nature. So I don't know. Talk to us, Mikey. What you got against our homeboy here? And Player of the Week news came out today, and everyone thought it was going to be Dak Prescott, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say for us, it happened to be Mr. Caleb Williams. The only thing not on there was his 142 quarterback rating this week. So congratulations to Caleb. And before we get into the injury report, guys, the one thing I did take out of that, seeing that I had to like very briefly watch this today, was Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams were both asked about this. It says Ben Johnson said Caleb Williams was completely unfazed about learning about winning the NFC Offensive Player. He goes, I tried to recognize him in front of the team, but he wouldn't have it. He stayed stoic and was already on to the next game. And then when Caleb Williams was asked about it, they asked him, and he said, why didn't you, the coach tried to recognize you? He goes, that was last week. I'm on to Vegas. So that award just is what it is. Not taking any personal accolades, man. I really love that, actually. Like, hey, man, who cares about the NFC Player of the Week award, dude? I got to get ready for Vegas. And I also heard that
he won Super Bowls, dude. He could care less about a Player of the Week award,
And
he didn't win it last year after that Jaguars game?
I don't think so. I think
who won it that week? He had 4 touchdowns and 350 yards.
I think Musa Muhammad was the last Offensive Player of the Week to get it, or maybe no, I'm sorry. The last quarterback to get it was Trubisky when he had his 6 touchdown game or whatever against like Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm looking it up just to double check, but I'm pretty sure it is for that. So let's see.
What's surprising?
Yes, Caleb received his first NFC Offensive Player of the Award after dominating the Cowboys.
Oh, wait. Did DJ Moore get it when he had that? He might have had a game with he had that 200-yard game.
I actually saw it. There was another Bear who won it recently, and I can't remember who it was. And that's my bad. I been a crazy day over here, but nonetheless,
it probably was DJ Moore after that Washington game.
Yeah, they had 200 and some odd yards.
Yeah. So getting into today, I love Ben Johnson. By the way, the media ahead of practice was trying to ask him about Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards, and they're like, "What's the secret of you trying to tell us?" And he goes, "What's the big deal about you just waiting another 30 minutes?" And he was getting chuckles. I love Ben Johnson. But today's injury report, obviously, there's your 5 DMPs, Wright, Loveland, Jarrett, Gordon, Edwards. Not too worried about Jarrett, Loveland, or Wright at this moment. We'll see how this progresses through Thursday and Friday. A lot of times, with the exception of Colston Loveland being a rookie, you get a lot of veteran days off. And I think we're all aware on the same page here that Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards, we don't believe we'll be seeing them ahead of this bye week.
I don't think we should.
So I don't think we should either. Just give them the extra week of rest. And we're going to get into this because I think I was listening to you guys backstage. I think we're going to all be on the same page on what the Bears should do with this ball game. But we'll see how that turns out. Quick recap for everybody. Obviously, coming off Ben Johnson's first victory last week, Bears won 31-14, giving him his first victory as the Bears headmaster. Caleb Williams, obviously, we just went over that NFC Player of the Week. Burden had his a slight, small breakout performance. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more out of him. Adunze continued to lead the way, and then obviously Edmonds, Sewell, and then since we didn't, I didn't put him up here, we'll throw him up here. Kervon Dexter had a fantastic game, 6 total pressures, 93 rating on his pass rush, 83 overall. And then obviously we all know Tyreek Stevenson, 8 targets, 2 receptions allowed, 9 yards allowed, 2 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, and recovered his own forced fumble, which you see in the picture there, which is still phenomenal and blows my mind. And a 39.6 quarterback rating when targeted. Stellar performance, bounce back. Hoping that we see some of the same defensive performances and they build off of this moving into Sin City. Boys, what are your thoughts, man? We got Vegas on deck. Some big names in this ball game. On the other side of the ball, Max Crosby. You have obviously the rookie Genty. You have Brock Bowers. Trey Tucker had a big week, albeit most of it in garbage time, but is a decent receiver. They have Jacoby Myers there. So they're, despite their slow start offensively, only averaging 17 points a game and not really blowing the doors off offensively, I still think there's some potential for them to do it, especially if the Bears are leaky on defense. So let's kick it off, man. Who wants to start off? What are your thoughts on the Bears heading to Las Vegas?
Kyle, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Jason and I talked a lot about it in the studio here. This is a game, if you look at the Raiders on paper, and Sean, I agree with you. I mean, this is a team that's young and they have a new head coach and they should only get better as the season goes on. But right now, they're not a very good football team. I mean, they're averaging 17 points a game. They're giving up 25 points a game to their opponent. They don't take the ball away a ton. They have one interception. They've covered 2 forced fumbles. I mean, they average somewhat, I think, 240 yards a game. They're just not in no way, shape, or form is this defense. Should the defense scare the Chicago Bears, and the offense is certainly not a powerhouse. But I do expect guys like Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, and I expect these guys to get better. They're all still pretty young. Remember, they still do have Thornton and Jack Beck on the bench. So at some point, you expect those guys to get playing time. The only thing that scares me about the Raiders right now, guys, for me personally, is Pete Carroll, because even with all the talent we just talked about, their offensive line is just not good. They've already given up 12 sacks. They're averaging 4 sacks a game on Geno Smith. He's averaging 277 yards per game. He's averaging 7.8 yards per completion. He's got a 63 completion percentage, nothing special. He's got 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's played pretty pedestrian to start the season here, but their offensive line, guys, outside of their left tackle, Colton Miller, who's got a PFF grade of 82.9, the rest of the offensive line is struggling mightily. Dylan Parham, their left guard, has got a 50 PFF grade. Jordan Meredith, the second best on the line, their center with a 62.6. The right guard, Jackson Powers Johnson, who we all liked in the draft, is a 44.1. And then DJ Glaze, who, to be honest with you guys, I'd never even heard of until I looked up these numbers, had a 57.
That name's not real.
And you guys know, as Bears fans, if the offensive line is not giving the quarterback time and they're not, the timing of the offense is upset, it's tough to score points in the NFL. And I just don't see any quick fix it for this Raiders team. This offensive line is atrocious. They're averaging 3.1 yards per carry as a team. If you look at these two rosters on paper, I know that they have talent over there in Vegas, but the Bears are a better team. And if the Bears play this game the way they should and they handle their business, they should come out of Vegas with a win. The only thing that scares me, like I said, is the fact that A, it's on the road, and B, it's against Pete Carroll, who's a really damn good football coach, and he can find ways to win.
Yeah, I mean, the two things that scare me first would be Brock Bowers. I mean, the Bears just gave up like 13 receptions to Jake Ferguson, and Brock Bowers is a reception machine. So, that might translate into like 20 receptions for Bowers. So I don't know. I'm just guessing, speculating. Maybe he won't have that great of a game, but without TJ Edwards still in the defense here, it's going to be rough. And then, our run defense sucks. So I know Ashton Genty isn't great. That offensive line isn't great. But with a really porous run defense, I wouldn't be surprised if he had 100 yards. I'm not saying he's going to rush for 200 or anything, but 100 yards is your benchmark, and he could easily do that. So those are the only two things that scare me. We were looking at the defense, backstage, Kyle, and both defenses are porous against the deep pass. Bears are much better at doing it though than Vegas is. So I'm expecting the Bears to, again, have a lot of explosive plays. I think the offensive line should hold up again. Darnell Wright's on it didn't practice, but for an offensive lineman, veteran, I'm hoping maybe that's just more of a rest than it is anything else. And if not, at least Theo Benedict can step in, and he did pretty well. So maybe we're okay there. But the Bears defense is going to have to continue their performance from last week and carry it over into here, because even though Vegas is not that great, I don't think it's a team that we should just simply sleep on and expect to beat, because, like I said, those two big key positions could hurt us this week. But if we stop those two guys, they're not going to really score any points. That's just my opinion. But you're right. Pete Carroll's not a dumb guy, right? He's won Super Bowls before. He's won championships, at USC, probably with a lot of drugs going on there, which is why I think he got kicked out of college. But I think it'll be a little bit closer than maybe we're hoping as Bear fans. We want 40 to 10, but it could be 28 to 24. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think there's some key stats here that we can go in, and this is going to be interesting because it's going to be a battle of wills and seeing if this front seven can step up against a team. Vegas coming into this game is averaging 3.1 yards per carry, which is 30th in the NFL. The Bears are allowing 5.5 yards per carry, which is 31st in the NFL. So when you look at that and say, man, they're only getting 3.1 yards per carry. They have this juggernaut, this generational talent, Ashton Genty in the backfield. This is something where you got to say Grady Jarrett, Montez Sweat, Gravon Dexter and Deo and even Sewell and bringing in some of the safeties off this line have to penetrate and keep this run game at ease, and don't let this be Ashton Genty's breakout performance of 2025. And as Jason alluded on, missing our boy TJ Edwards in the middle and Kyler Gordon. The Bears have been picked on. The Bears have been picked on by tight ends in this past season or this past week, against Jake Ferguson. As Jay said, 13 receptions, 82 yards. The week before that, Laporta and Wright combined for 6 catches, 54 yards, and a touchdown. I know that doesn't seem like a huge sample size, but they were averaging 9 yards a catch. So this is something that as it gets
those first down drive continues.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are things that as you get more film on the Bears, people are going to say, hey, man, tight ends up the middle are a place to attack these guys. So this is something that you have to watch, especially having a generational talent like Brock Bowers on the field ready to attack.
He has 10, 12 receptions against really good defenses. You know what I mean? That's why it scares me. So,
yeah, and I think Kyle touched on, I put together my Bears preview that I'm going to drop tomorrow. But the under radar players that I said to keep an eye on were 2 rookies, and Kyle touched on one, and Deontay Thornton Jr. And my one for the Bears was Luther Burden. Both coordinators are going to have their eyes on these guys. Right now, Thornton's averaging 18 yards a catch. He's had 12 targets, so they are looking at him. They're mainly looking at him to take the top off the defense. Obviously, when you're averaging 18.8 yards a catch, they're taking the top off. This guy's a speedster. I firmly believe that he can beat McLeod. He can beat Nashawn Wright. So it's going to be very important for this front seven to continue this penetration, because coming into this game, Geno Smith is the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL. So this front seven needs to cash in on Sunday and take that run game away. Keep this team one-dimensional if they can. I think it's going to be a cakewalk, very similar to what it was against Dallas.
Yeah, if you stop the run game and stop their tight ends, they're not going to. Thornton is good, and what surprises me, I mean, what's I guess another thing that scares me is like the NFC Offensive Player of the Week has come from the Bears game. Like so far every week this week. Usually we're giving up the points to the NFC Player of the Week. So I just hope that trend doesn't continue. Or if it does, it's Caleb again, or maybe DJ Moore or Roma Dunze. I definitely don't want it to be a Raider.
Yeah, and you guys, Brock Bowers is, like Sean said, he's generational. He's going to have good numbers against everybody, and I totally understand where you guys are coming from. Like if you let him, he can ruin the game. But he's going to have a good game against the Bears. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to have them. But as long as the Bears keep everything in front of them, and they continue to take the ball away, which they've been pretty good at this season, they should be able to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And like I said, Geno Smith's not a terrible quarterback by any means necessary, but the offensive line's just not giving him enough time, and it's messing up the timing of the offense. And they just can't put it together. I mean, 17 points a game in the NFL is not acceptable. And real quick, guys, Greek culture in the house here. He says, duh, Bears. Then he follows it up with big day for the Bears defense. You guys think then? I think the Bears defense is going to pick up where they left off against Dallas. I'm not saying they're going to have 4 takeaways, but I think they can make it a long day for the Raiders offense there, because like I said, you guys, I mean, look at these offensive line numbers. They're just atrocious. And to be honest with you guys, outside of Powers Johnson, if I would have come on the show and said, hey guys, what do you guys think of Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith, and DJ Glaze? I don't even know if people could tell me who they were. Like these are not highly touted offensive linemen that were drafted super high.
I saw DJ Glaze at the Vic 94.
These guys are exactly what they drafted. They drafted these guys 3rd, 4th round. These guys are not very good. In the like Sean said, the best way to disrupt an offense is to get after the quarterback. And Geno Smith is averaging 4 sacks a game. If the Bears can do that too. If they can get 4 sacks on Geno Smith, I think it's going to be a long day for the Raiders. And like I said, I still think there's a couple players in the Raiders who are going to have good days. They're going to get their numbers. But I think ultimately, like Jason said earlier, the Bears are just going to be too much. The Bears offense is much better than the Raiders. I think the Bears could win this game 31-21.
Yeah, and for me, it's much like they did, and they didn't really do it against Dallas, but they took the run game away, even though it was effective. And the thing that scares me the most is, you guys know I've been down on Genty, but Genty does have great burst and contact balance, and he is a guy who can turn a 2-yard play into a 12-yard play. So isolating this guy and taking this guy out and forcing Geno to have to drop back by taking that run game away or getting points on the board and expanding it and just taking him away. Because when you look at Genty as a whole, which we will look at in a little bit down the show, I think he has 6 targets, 5 catches for like 4 yards. I think he has like I think it's 0.5. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. It's 0.6 yards per catch he's averaging right now. So, he doesn't – I heard he was kind of a threat in the pass game. Doesn't seem that way through the first 3 weeks. But, again, I think
his offensive line is so shitty, dude.
Yeah.
If you're getting hit in the backfield, it's not his fault.
Yeah, and that's another thing, and we'll talk. We're going to talk about that too. Ashton Genty has 144 rushing yards on the day, and the stat is weird. 145, it says, have come after contact. So obviously there was a loss of yards. Yeah, Adam Schefter put it out today, so I added it to my thing. But not only Schefter, it's been reported by 1,000 people and I'm trying to figure it out. But a couple people had 146. Some people had 145. So there had to be – they must calculate some kind of losses, even though that's not the actual yardage. It has to work out that way. I don't fucking know. Well, it's really weird, some of these stats. I actually wrote it on here. It said he has 144 rushing yards and 145 have come after first contact. So – that's another thing, and we saw this last week, guys. The Bears were very, very poor at tackling Javonte Williams. I mean, he was riding Bears on their back. So they have to stay true to their gap discipline in this game. Tighten up tighten up that line, stay disciplined on the second level, and take this kid out of this game and keep him on the trajectory that he's been on through the first 3 weeks, averaging 3 yards a carry and making him non-effective in the pass game at all.
Their Bears tackling last week was better. Now I know that it's not a good sign when a running back can carry your defensive end 6 yards after being hit, but that is also Dominic Robinson. I don't think he does that to Montez Sweat. I think if they continue to tackle and gang tackle like they were last week, we should be okay. If the defensive line plays as well as it did, and then another big guy we're going to need another big game for until we get our other linebacker back is Edmonds. He's got to keep playing like he played last week because, I mean, the talent I know Sewell's good, but really his passing defense could be better. But we need a third linebacker there because Hippolyte's just not. He's not your prototypical size running back, especially going up against Ashton Genty. Genty might be the same size.
Yeah, real quick, guys, let's say what's up to everybody in the chat here. We got V-Dog, DJ Prophet, Relentless Mikey, Bears fan for life. Breaking news, Bruce is here as always. Create Cultures in the house. Thank you so much. Vizzo Joe is here with us. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We appreciate you. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Yeah, I mean, everybody's making good points here. I agree with Sean. Like when Genty was coming out of the draft, Sean was like, this guy, he just doesn't scream generational to me. I don't think he's necessarily generational, but I do think he looks a lot worse than he is due to this offensive line. I mean, we all agree that Chase Brown's a good running back, right, guys? But he's averaging like 1.2 yards per carry because he's playing behind one of the most putrid offensive lines in the NFL. I don't necessarily think it's his fault. And Mikey asked, do you think that Genty's good enough to overcome the woes of this offensive line? Not if it continues to go the way it's going. Absolutely not. I don't think any team in the NFL is capable of overcoming a bad offensive line, guys. We've seen it many years now.
No, I agree.
Yeah, the secret to winning football games is offensive line. It's pretty obvious. I mean, all the teams in the NFL right now that are good football teams have good offensive lines that keep the quarterback upright. If the Bears, like Sean said, continue to do what they did last week, you don't have to necessarily sack Geno Smith, but you got to upset the timing of the offense. If the Bears can get into the backfield, they had 7 hits on Dak Prescott last week. If they can continue to do that in Vegas, I think it's going to be a long day for Vegas's offense. I think Vegas is still going to score points because the Bears are banged up, and they're at the end of the day, they're not really all that good of a defense. And like you guys said, you can't continue to give up 6 yards a carry, or sooner or later it's going to bite you in the ass. And I do think that Ashton Genty, as much as he struggled, he's really good at breaking tackles. And Javonte Williams looked really good against the Bears defense last week. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if
he's got more yards after breaking a tackle than he does actually running.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he runs over some Chicago Bears next week. But I think at the end of the day, I just don't know if Vegas is capable of keeping up with the Bears offense. I mean, unless Vegas's defense comes out and plays much better than they have been, I just don't think they're good enough to keep up with Bears offense. Like I said, this to me personally, guys, this is kind of like the first game against Minnesota. This is going to be a chess match between Ben Johnson and Pete Carroll, and Ben Johnson cannot get out coached in this game like he did against Minnesota and Kevin O'Connell. And, he's a young coach. I'm assuming he's probably learning from his mistakes, but Ben Johnson needs to have a damn good game on Sunday because, Sean, you're right. They could lose this game. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not like the Bears are playing the Saints. Vegas is a competitive football team, and they have flashes where they look good.
I was actually going to ask you guys this too, because I kind of wrote this in my preview for the game, but I kind of wrote this is a trap game for the Bears. The Raiders aren't a good football team, and the Bears are better, but the Raiders have a couple of game wreckers, Bowers and Crosby. And if you let Genty get going and you can't tackle him, now you just added another mix to the powder keg. So there are some things that can go wrong. And at the same time, as I'm saying that, going inside the numbers, when I look at what Vegas did to them last week, 400 yards, they're among the worst in the league, allowing 6.2 yards per play. I'm like, man, I just don't know how the Bears can lose this game if that offense looks remotely close to the way that it did last week and that pocket remains clean, or even if he has to improvise, because I think you're starting to see the evolution of these playmakers just a little bit. Burden's going to continue to get comfortable. We haven't seen enough out of DJ Moore yet, but Rome obviously has that solid connection right now. And we don't know what we're going to get out of Colston Loveland, but at this moment, but tight ends have not been something that have attacked the Raiders that much, but that also could be going back to week 1 against Hunter Henry. He didn't have a great game, and Hunter Henry's pretty good, a pretty good tight end in this league. So he had 4 for 66, so I guess not terrible, but they haven't been lit up at the tight end position. So I'm looking more at the wide receivers. And another stat that I found that was very interesting, and this is a fantasy stat, but since week 12 of last year, there's only been one double-digit running back actually had over 12 fantasy points against the Las Vegas Raiders, excuse me. So that also tells me, man, this is going to be something very big to establish the run with either Kyle Monangai, if Rojo gets a chance, and or DeAndre Swift. And again, the one thing I'd like to see is DeAndre Swift get some opportunities in space, not in between the tackles, some halfback pitches, halfback tosses, some things that with a lead blocker out there, and get this guy able to make a shifty move and break a big run, because I think we can all agree we're just not going to, he's not going to find immense success running in between the tackles.
And Sean, you make a good point there. You got to get him. You got to get him in the open. He's night and day a different player in the open field than when he's behind the line of scrimmage. But he's been Johnson's been using his wide receivers back there a lot. You might see Luther Burden again. You might see DJ Moore. I would not be surprised. I mean, they've been talking about it even in the preseason. So those are all 3 guys that if they get in the open field and yards after catch, let's say, a little pitch, a little screen, those 3 guys can all 3 of them do damage. It's just, can we get them in the open and get that play to work? So, because honestly, Monangai, I don't know, he's bouncy, but he bounces like backwards. You know what I mean? So he's breaking tackles, but he's breaking them in the wrong direction. So,
Not a fan.
I don't know. Maybe he gets better. I don't know. I don't think he did terrible. What I'd like to see is the Bears run the ball and command the run game, maybe is a better phrasing for it, like they did in that 19-play drive in the third quarter last week. You don't need 20-yard runs all the time, but you do want to take the ball up and down the field utilizing the run, because that's what's going to kill defenses sooner, rather than later. And that's how you can control the game. We've preached it here a million times, right? Run the ball, stop the run. Run the ball, stop the run. You do that, and chances are you're going to win. And just like Kyle had mentioned earlier, with all the number one teams, all the best teams having good lines, all the good teams do have good offensive lines. The great ones have good offensive lines and defensive lines. So it's not something we invented or a rule we made up. It's just the way football's been forever. So you're dead on, Sean. We gotta get some more explosive plays maybe out of that run game, and probably the screen pass or outside zone is the only way we're going to be able to attack that.
Yeah, and for the Bears, the run game has been disappointing so far, no doubt about it, guys. But at the same time, Ben Johnson is a guy who he's very smart. He's not going to give up. He's not going to abandon the run. And like Jason said, it feels like they're kind of scratching and clawing and doing whatever they can to make the run game relevant. They're putting DJ Moore back there. They're doing a ton of end arounds. But I think the more cohesive this offensive line gets, the more they play together. They will start opening up run lanes for what I don't care if it's Kyle Monangai, Roshan Johnson, DeAndre Swift. As long as you can continue to average 4.5, 5 yards a carry, just to keep the defense honest. And to be honest with you guys, the more tape people see on guys like Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, and the more they see the way the Bears operate this offense with all these different weapons spread out wide, I think the more attention they're going to have to pay to guys like Luther Burden, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, and the more the Bears will have space to run. Because if you put all four of those guys on the field and you got to have running back in the backfield, who do you cover? I mean, you can't just constantly stack the box. The more successful the Bears downfield offense gets, the more it's going to open up for the running game. And I agree with Sean. I'm not a huge fan of watching DeAndre Swift running between the tackles over and over and over again. Like, guys, if it's not working, then you got to fix it. It's not working. And the Bears tried this last year with DeAndre Swift, and it didn't work. It was his lowest yards per carry of his career. It's time to get Roshan Johnson and Kyle Monangai more involved. And I'm not even saying that I love either one of those guys, but right now, those are your only options, right? I mean, that's all you got. So, but I do think that Ben Johnson, no matter what, even if they're averaging 3 yards a carry, he's going to stay committed to the run game. And this is going to be, I think this is going to be another good game for the Bears offense. I do.
Hey, I'm just adding up because Jason brought up explosive plays, and I'm looking at explosive plays that the Raiders have given up in, holy Jesus, dude, through 3 weeks. So an explosive play running, guys, is a play over, for those who don't know what the definition of, and I'm just going to say it, I'm not calling anyone stupid. It's a run of more than 10 yards, a pass play of more than 20 yards. And looking at these three box scores for the first 3 weeks, they're about equal. I mean, they're giving up explosive plays on the ground. I mean, they've given up in the last 2 weeks, they've given up a 60-yard pass, a touchdown, a 60-yard long in the last 2 weeks. In every single week, they've given up a 25-yard pass. And in every single week, they've given up a 26-yard pass as well. So here's a 25, a 27, another 25, another 26. I mean, these guys they're giving – I like where the Bears are in this particular moment, especially seeing now that I'm adding this up. In 3 weeks, they've given up 9 explosive plays, and I might be shorting a couple because I was trying to write them down as I went. But 9 explosive plays in 3 weeks. I think we might be looking at 12 or 13 by 6 o'clock on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what, Sean? I can't remember if I said this earlier in the show or backstage, but Caleb Williams last year, one of the biggest knocks on him was his deep ball accuracy and the Bears' lack of explosive plays. They're now third in the league in those explosive plays. And believe it or not, Bears fans, we have a top 10 offense. It's been a while since we had one of those. I want to say one of the Jay Cutler years, but I mean, obviously last week kind of helps, roll the curve in our favor a little bit, but I don't see any reason why we can't keep doing it. I don't know if we're going to be that explosive every game, but I think we're going to be more efficient on those plays. And I think wide receivers are going to be open. I think running backs, like you said, Kyle, once the offensive line is more cohesive, they're going to have lanes to run through, and you're going to start seeing that average tick up. May still be a few more weeks. I mean, we've got this week a bye and then Washington. To me, if we beat Washington, that's when the league is going to start taking us seriously. But in order to get there, we got to obviously take care of Las Vegas. So It's going to be interesting, Sean. You're right. There are some things that you can't sleep on. They match up well because the Bears are also equally bad at like giving up explosive plays and so. But I think personnel wise, I think we
just have more explosive playmakers than Vegas does right now. That's the problem. I mean, like I said, you guys, these young guys, Thornton, Genty, they're going to get better. But right now, they're in the fourth game of their career, and you're getting the Raiders in a good spot right now. They just don't seem like everything's clicking over there. But real quick, guys, let's get some of these comments. V-Dog says, I'm actually shocked at how well Cole Kmet has improved his pass protection. It's night and day improvement. Yeah, his blocking in general, run blocking as well. He's been absolutely outstanding this year. And we talked a lot in the offseason about how we think that Cole Kmet's going to be a lot more involved in the blocking game since they brought Colston Loveland, and he is not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. Great Culture says you still have to pound the rock to help pass. If you get a yard or not, have to keep them honest. I agree with you 100%, man. We talked about that. I think that Ben Johnson loves the RPOs. He loves the play action stuff. And the only way you can run that stuff is if the defense thinks you can run the ball. So he will continue to stay committed to the run game, regardless of the outcome. And then Relentless Mikey says here, but to be honest, yeah, but to be honest, Caleb has been very good at layered passes. That leads to explosive plays. I agree with you 100%. Sean put a chart out last week for the Dallas game, and Caleb's he looks good all over the field. I mean, it looks like there's not a pass in the NFL he can't make. And he's obviously got very God-given talent when it comes to that arm. He's very good. He's very, very good at off-script stuff, and he's good in the pocket if you keep him clean. So, yeah, I mean, you guys, it's not like they're getting after the Raiders are living in the backfield against every single. I think they have 7 sacks on the season. It's not terrible, but it's nothing I would be scared of. And like I said, the opposing defenses against the Raiders are living in the backfield. If they continue to average 4 sacks on Geno Smith a week for the rest of the season, he's probably not going to finish the season.
Create Culture also asked, like, how do they compare to Dallas? Dallas has the 2 worst defensive backs in the universe playing for them right now. So they're slightly better, but not much better, if that helps you.
Yeah, I think most of the Cowboys' explosive plays are going to come against the Giants. I don't remember what they did in the first 2 weeks ahead of that. I know there was explosive play after explosive play against the Giants. That was a very fun football game.
Yeah, and they looked good against Philly, but I don't think they had a ton of explosive plays. I think they were just methodically moving the ball to them. I mean, they looked better against Philly than I thought they were going to look against Philly. They hung in there for a long time against the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are just not a good football team. And to be honest with you guys, neither are the Raiders. I think the Bears are at this point right now, guys, where we could say they're probably an average to above average football team when you look at offense, defense, and special teams. So by default, they should beat these teams. Now, like Sean, I agree with you 100%. Any given Sunday. I mean, the Packers just lost the Browns. You never know what's going to happen on Sunday. It's always a crapshoot. And they have a damn good coach, Pete Carroll. He's the guy I wanted if the Bears couldn't somehow land Ben Johnson. It's going to be a chess match, but I think the Bears just have too many playmakers. I don't think the Raiders are a good enough team to handle the DJ Moores and Roma Dunzes and Luther Burdens and Cole Kmets of the world. I just don't think they have the roster to do that. So if Caleb stays in that structure and he plays within the structure of the offense and stays in the pocket, and these guys continue getting open like they did last week, I just don't think there's any way that the Raiders could beat the Bears. Now, obviously, like we talked about, guys, it's going to come down to Caleb Williams. He needs to continue to be the guy he was last week and continue to be the guy he's been for the first 3 games of the season. Because even when the Bears were losing, Caleb's numbers weren't terrible. I mean, he missed a couple passes here and there. We've all talked about that. We gave him his credit for that. But for the most part, Caleb's been good since day one, and he looks a lot better this year than he did last year.
Over the year.
Yeah, I mean, he looks damn good. He looks like a franchise quarterback. And the Vegas Raiders defense isn't the defense that should expose Caleb Williams in any way, shape, or form. They're not that good. They're not terrible, but they're not that good.
Yeah, and for me, when saying this could be a trap game, it's really gonna, for me, it's gonna come down to the offense and defensive lines. The offensive line of the Raiders is not good. And I'm expecting the Bears not to be bullied by them. I'm expecting the Bears to bully them a little bit on the defense.
Put the pressure on the Raiders, man. Don't let
that's a good test for the defensive line, Sean. That's a good point. If they're not getting home on this offensive line, then there's something wrong with our defensive line.
And I did like somebody put in the comments here, Sewell on Genty, we should be fine.
Create culture, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't mind that at all. Sewell is the player that I've been banging the table for the last couple of years, saying give this kid a chance. He couldn't get on the field under the old crappy regime. I'm glad that these new coaches were able to tap him and get him out there, and we're seeing the fruits of his labor. He looks really good. to me, I mean, I know that Edmonds had a great game, 15 total tackles, 2 picks, but just watching with my eyes, Sewell seems to be everywhere. He seems to be
He's a disruptive player for offenses for sure.
I think he's been better than we probably expected, right? I expected
100%.
Sewell to be. If obviously Eberflus thought he wasn't good enough to be on the field. I'm like, well, maybe Eberflus is an idiot, and this guy is at least average and can be a rotational player. He's above average. He's a legitimate NFL linebacker. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's a star. I'm not saying we have Michael Parsons on the team, but this guy can play football. And Sean, like you said, the fact that the previous coaching staff could find a place for him is just heartbreaking because they've also just impacted Sewell's, right? They've also impacted Sewell's his money. Like this previous coaching staff just screwed him out of a lot of money because if you've been playing like this for the last 2 years, he probably do be
getting a good contract.
Yeah. And real quick, guys, Creek Culture's got kind of breaking news here. He says TTNL reports some Bears ownership share have just been sold. Yeah, that's by the shares that were made available by the passing of, I forget his name, guys, it just escapes me, but one of the Bears investors passed away, and the Bears were looking for somebody to buy some of those shares, probably to help out with the costs of the stadium. So another step in the right direction when it comes to building in Arlington Heights.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I know I was at the doctor's today, and my doctor comes from that way, and he said Northwest Highway is already under construction. It's painful to get to Elk Grove from there. And I looked at him and I said, well, just wait until the Bears drop some shovels in the ground. It's really going to be painful for you, my friend.
Yeah, it's funny. As soon as the Bears bought the racetrack, or not long after the Bears bought the racetrack, they started making a ton of roads and highways in Arlington Heights from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, and they started adding turn lanes. I'm like, I think the Bears know where they're going, and I think Arlington Heights knows where they're going.
Dude, they all right. So 53 there. I don't know if anybody is not from Chicagoland area and doesn't really know, but if you're headed from the city, you're pretty much going to have to go through that 53 interchange there, 355, right by Woodfield Mall. It's already an insane madhouse, and it's like 12 lanes on each side already. I don't know if they can actually make it any bigger, but they got to figure something out. Because I'll tell you what, in December, if the Bears are doing good and you got Christmas time going on at Woodfield Mall, it's not going to be fun to get to the game from the city. I will tell you that.
Yeah, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting that this is going to happen, and I think this might be we might make it until the opening of that stadium, and we'll have to see. We'll see what the cost of the tickets are when that thing gets unveiled.
Well, I got it approved, Sean. I'm as soon as they put the PSLs out, I'm buying 2 seats.
Yeah, you guys. To me, when we were watching the game on Sunday on national television, a 3:15
game of the week,
and they put out the renderings for the stadium in Arlington Heights, I'm like, I think that's probably it. I think that was like they're telling the world it's done. You guys, it's done.
And by the way, 25.5 million people watched. It says it was the most watched telecast, 2nd week streak. Fox Sports was the number one show on TV. They're now averaging 29.5 million viewers. It's up 15% from last year.
Well, I guess Tom Brady's doing his job, right? Yeah. Damn. You guys, Relentless Mikey says, yep, 355 to 290 East fucking blows. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Mikey.
Yeah,
you have to get there now from where we're at. We have to basically take that interchange to get to Soldier Field already. It's already bad. I mean, I just don't know, man. I honestly, I'm probably going to drive over to the Northwest train line, park there, and take the train into Soldier Field. For me, that's probably the easiest way that I don't have to deal with anything.
Oh, and Jason, they've talked about building like a skywalk from the train station to the stadium, so you're never even outdoors. You'd never be snowed on or anything like that, which that would be awesome. It'd be amazing. Super expensive. Hey, not my money.
So, boys, I think anything else we want to talk about this Vegas game? I think we got it wrapped up.
Oh, do you guys want to do your score predictions now, or you want to wait till?
It's up to y'all, man. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, Sean, start it off, man. What do you got?
I'm curious to know your feelings regarding Wright. That could possibly be his last game at center right tackle because from mid-January, Ben Johnson was hired and Rocher. I still am on the boat of Darnell Wright isn't going anywhere off the right
Yeah, you
side.
guys,
He's good enough. He's just got to get those penalties under control.
you guys, I sent this to Sean earlier this week, a text. Somebody, I think it was Fangraphs. I forgot who made it. They made it so kind to make a chart on who's allowed the most pressures in every single position on every offensive line in the NFL. Currently, right now, Darnell Wright has allowed the 7th least amount of pressures of all 160 offensive linemen in the NFL. However many there are. He is, because some people qualify if they've played certain games or whatever, but he is a top 10 offensive lineman in the NFL right now. Obviously, the penalties are frustrating, guys, but that's something you can clean up. You can't make Braxton Jones the best tackle in the NFL, but you can get rid of the penalties from Darnell Wright. You can
teach how not to hold, right?
Too, the thing is, he's left on an island a lot. And sometimes those things are going to happen. It sucks that they could be drive killers, but when it comes to Darnell Wright and switching sides, I would probably be more on board with it if this is something you tried at the end of July and worked it through the end of August. I don't personally see the benefit of taking a strength and possibly making it a weakness when you don't know what he's going to do on the left side of the line either. He could be a complete disaster. Now you have two disasters at your bookends, which is what you just were trying to fix.
And you know what, Sean, in that same conversation, I know Braxton Jones was really bad to start the season, and he was much better on Sunday against the Cowboys.
He was.
And it's probably due to the massive injury he's coming off of. And I think he's probably somewhere in the middle, right? Like, I don't think Braxton Jones is as bad as he was in week 1 and 2, but I also don't think he's as good as he was in week 3. He's probably somewhere in the middle. So I think the left tackle position, as bad as Braxton Jones has been, Bears fans obviously are not a huge fan of him, but I think it will be better than it was in the first couple of weeks for sure. And then
hopefully Joe Tooney helps him out a little bit too, and what's really good news, V-Dog, is that I think the Bears have found their swing tackle in Theo Benedette. That guy just seems to get plugged in games, and you really don't even notice it, a drop in play. So hey, he played, left tackle. He's played right tackle. I mean, I think that's really good that they found that. And you know what, Kyle? That's another guy. I know he was injured last year, but that was another guy that just really couldn't seem to get on the field.
Yeah, and we got some pick six.
What's up, ECN? What's up, Brandon?
So, Mikey, if you stick around here, we got the pick six standings up. And if everyone can't make it every week, we're going to do it off of percentages at the end of the season, because I know it's hard for everyone to make it every week.
Unless you only do like 6 games. You're not getting the win for 6 games. For a lucky week.
Well, I'm going to work out something, autographed jersey or helmet or football or something at the end of the year to give to the winner, even if it's someone on our panel. You guys can buy something for me if I win.
We'll give it to the fans. Whoever's closest to or does beat our percentages, that's who gets it.
And we'll do the pick six just towards the tail end of the show. Here we got a couple of great games to pick out: Baltimore, Kansas City, Philly, Tampa, Minnesota, and Minnesota is in stupid England or Ireland versus Pittsburgh. So and then Detroit and Cleveland. We'll keep with the theme of the NFC North. We got 30-10. So Mikey, I'm putting you down for your pick six because you got the Bears, and where the Bears will be. So it's a pick 5 after the Bears. How about that?
Are we giving our Bears predictions here?
Yeah. If we let's roll.
I'll say Bears. I'm not going to go with my nightmare scenario of the 28-24 because I think that's too close. I'm going to say, I'll say 30-14.
Thanks for showing up, Twitter. We appreciate you guys.
Bears,
please, if you haven't already, go over to our YouTube channel and hit that like and subscribe button. Our views are skyrocketing right now. Thank you, Twitter. We appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, Sean, like I said earlier, I think that the Bears offense is just too much for this Vegas Raiders defense to handle. And I think ultimately the Bears will win this game. I think it's going to be a decent game since the Bears have their own defensive deficiencies. So I'm going to take the Bears 31-21 to win by 10 over the Vegas Raiders on Sunday.
You got my 30-14, Sean?
Camel Toe. What's up, bro?
There he is.
What's up, Camel Toe?
What's up?
Kyle, you got the Bears. I do expect a somewhat of a bounce back performance from the Raiders defense on some level. after getting embarrassed by Marcus Mariota. But I like what you guys said here. I think the Bears have too much. I do honestly believe this is the prime spot for the Bears to continue to build their momentum from last week going into this bye, getting ready for Washington on the road. So Vegas, far too inconsistent throughout this season. I'm going to slam the money line, especially if they leave the Bears as a 2-point underdog.
I thought they moved it. I thought the Chicago literally moved it because it was Vegas was a 1.5-point favorite for being at home, and then I think 80% of the money went on the Bears. So Vegas changed the line, or FanDuel changed the line. The Bears plus 2.
I saw it both ways, and I don't know which one was first and which one was last. Like I saw it both ways.
Currently,
one point on Instagram, the Bears were favored, and then I saw another post where the Raiders were favored, and which would make sense because they're pretty even teams and they're in Vegas, right? So the home team gets that 3-point.
Well, right now on DraftKings, the Bears are plus 1.5, minus 105 on the money line. That's slightly over even money. I'm probably going to end up throwing at least a hundo on that Bears minus 105 because I don't really see them winning. My final score, I have the Bears 27, Vegas 17. I think the Bears, much like they did last week against Dallas, is going to make them one-dimensional. They'll take Ashton Genty out. They're going to force him to pass. They'll end up with some picks, end up hopefully grinding this game out. And, the one thing I want to talk about was, we kind of talked about it on Monday. The first 2 weeks, against Minnesota, I think it was 4.7 yards per carry. Against Detroit, it was 5 yards per carry. And last week it dipped to 2.7 yards per carry, I believe, or it was just like 3. Is it 2.7 or 3.3? I don't remember off the top of my head, but substantially lower than the first 2 weeks. But when you look at that long drive that the Bears put together, that 19-play drive where they had 11 runs in a row,
the backbreaker,
they did average 4 yards a carry. So outside of that, I don't know what happens, for the Bears if they don't run, if they're getting stuff behind the line and they're forcing Caleb to pass. But even averaging 4 yards per carry, you're setting up that third and short that you want and to continue. So that's where they want to be. I think that happens again. I got the Bears 27, the Vegas Raiders 17.
All right, Sean, we got breaking news. Bruce in the chats. He's got the Bears winning 30-20 over the Raiders. And then we got V-Dog in the house. He says the Bears will win 31-17. So anybody else want to get their prediction and let us know, man.
Bears, I don't know.
It wasn't the case. I just looked up the stats, but it seemed to me like they played Andrew Billings more last week. But literally, his snap count has been the same. It was like 21 in week 1 and 23 last week.
He looks overweight to me. I mean, obviously they're all big dudes, but he looks like he came in. He looks like he didn't spend a lot of time. Yeah, like I don't know, man. I hate to say that because I love Andrew Billings and he's been good for the Bears since they brought him in here, but he just doesn't look like the same player, and he doesn't physically look like the same player either. He looks like a totally different guy.
Like John Dexter came in like fit and.
Hey, I'm going to write these scores down in case for tiebreakers. 28-17. Camel Toe just said 2-2. Mikey had V-Dog had 31-17. Who was that 28? Camel Toe was 28. And guys, I know you guys just popped in. We are doing a pick six every week throughout the year, and we're going to give away a grand prize at the end of the year. So if you guys are still around, there'll be 5 games to pick. We have the standings. We'll throw up the standings.
Well, Sean, real quick, Vizzo Joe's got Bears 28, Raiders 24. So he is now in the mix as well.
Vizzo Joe. And that's the standings as of last week.
Sean AC Adams got 34-14 Bears.
34. What did Vizzo Joe have again?
Bears 28, Raiders 24.
What did Bruce have?
Bruce had 30-20.
30-20. Kyle, what was your score?
31-21. So same spread as Bruce.
Jay, what was yours?
Mine was Bears 30, Vegas 14.
30-14. Mikey, I'm missing Mikey's.
He says, oh no.
He had it in there.
He did the Packers. Here, let me find Mikey's. Go ahead, guys.
Mikey, if that game is that bad, he probably will. Yeah, I think if it's,
Sean, relentless Mikey's got Bears 30, Raiders, Raiders 10.
Mikey, if it's another barn burning, a boat race, yeah, and the Packers probably are going to boat race them, to be perfectly honest.
I don't see any way in which we can get into these games later. But
I
don't see
hate to
any
say
way that
this,
the Cowboys beat the
but-
Packers. Man,
But
that's
Mikey's probably right. It might be 250-7. It's actually funny because Chris got scorned by starting Jordan Love. And I told him on the phone today, I was like, bro, I think you missed it by 1 week because I think he's absolutely going to torch the Cowboys this week.
Oh yeah, and it's funny, guys. I'm looking at my matchup in our league today, and I'm playing Scott, and I'm like, oh man, Jared Goff's been really good, but then I'm like, oh, he's playing Cleveland. There they go. They've been slowing quarterbacks down, man. That defense in Cleveland is legit, 100%. What's up, James? Thanks for joining the show, man.
James.
Well, guys, I got to say this. We got our predictions in. If anyone else wants to throw a prediction in, we'll find it. We'll put you down. The pick six coming up very, very shortly. We're going to get into what some stars that have kind of not been the stars that we thought they would be. And it kind of sucks.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I have a couple of these guys. I picked 9 guys. We don't have to beat it up too long. Give me a panic meter from 1 to 10 for fantasy players and just NFL along. And I got some guys from all of our fantasy teams here because I know we're all feeling this right now from some of these
I know
guys.
you picked off my team. I know exactly. You picked
I got a couple of them on my teams too. Yeah.
Kyle, I picked the guy off of your team and my team that is absolutely crapping the bed. And I am seriously concerned about one Chase Brown.
Yes, panic meter is a 58, Sean. That's my panic meter.
So,
Brown.
dude, going back to 2000, Chase Brown has the fewest rushing yards through 3 games of any RB, seeing 45 plus carries. He has 47 carries for 93 rush yards, a 1.89 oh my God, yards per carry this season. He has 54 yards before contact. So he's getting hit. That means he's got 93 rushing yards. 54 he was hit either behind the line or at the line to scrimmage and gained a yard. He's in a very bad situation behind a very bad line. 1 to 10, where's your panic meter on Chase Brown? Because mine is a 9.
Mine's a 10,
Yeah,
man.
Kyle, I'll let you go. Since
Mine's
he's
a
your
10,
player.
you guys. I mean, we talked about it all offseason. The Bengals just refused to address that offensive line. It's the worst offensive line in football. They've already gotten their quarterback, Joe Burrow, hurt, which also hurts the stock of Chase Brown. He can't find any room behind that line. The only way that Chase Brown can be relevant from this point on for the rest of the season is just in the passing game. That's it, because there's no room to run in Cincinnati, and they've put other guys back there. It's not like Chase Brown's averaging 1.2 yards per carry, and other guys who are running behind that line are averaging 18. That line is putrid. They're not opening up any running lanes for anybody. And I think they're wasting the talents of Chase Brown and the rest of that team, to be honest with you guys. We've talked about it 1,000 times. Jason, you said earlier, it's not something we just made up 10 minutes ago. Win in the trenches. It's been a phrase since like 1924, like win in the trenches. And for some reason, the Bengals just can't seem to figure that out. And, you're going to pour all this money to Joe Burrow, all this money to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and then you don't protect the quarterback? Then you don't protect your quarterback? Like, what are you guys doing, man?
You know what? I'm probably like an 8, and I guess I'm not going to just beat a dead horse, and because everything you said, Kyle, is 100% correct. I think one of the other biggest factors is their defense is abyssal, and I said that correct. It's an abyss. It's not good, which means they're going to be behind, and when you're behind, you're less likely to run the ball. It's literally just an amalgamy of not good signs for Chase Brown.
I need a Chase Brown receiving touchdown in the worst way this week, because we're going to stay with the Cincinnati train, because I will be going up against this guy this week. And I hope it's not a breakout week for one T. Higgins, who has 14 targets, 7 catches for 104 yards. He's averaging 34.6 yards per game. The problem with T. Higgins is that Brown doesn't distribute the ball equally and loves pepper Mr. Jamar Chase. My panic meter for T. Higgins is pretty high as well. I'm leaving him about an 8. I don't know where you guys stand with one T. Higgins.
Well, I'll tell you what. I listened to you two knuckleheads and picked up Jake Browning as my backup quarterback because
don't give up on Browning
Daniels was hurt. And I'll tell you what, he didn't distribute the ball to anybody. Not a single person. So I would say my panic meter is a 10 on T. Higgins.
Yeah, I'm not going to go 10 on T. Higgins because I think T. Higgins is still a guy who can create space and he can get. He's actually, I think he's probably the better of the two when it comes to if you have to run an offense where you have to get the ball out of your hands immediately. I think T. Higgins is a bigger target. I think he's good at slant routes, the kind of screen passes, the kind of stuff that you would throw if you're trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand immediately. And I'm not saying Jamar Chase isn't, guys. I'm just saying Jamar Chase is better at the downfield stuff where you need a couple seconds to let these plays develop. My panic meter for T. Higgins is probably a 5 or 6. I think by come midseason, he'll be a guy who's averaging 70, 80 yards a game and possibly a touchdown. I mean, he's T. Higgins and Jamar Chase they're gonna find numbers at some point. They are who they are. They're unstoppable.
Pay attention to the matchups on these guys. That's really, I think, what the big point is.
100%. Especially if they're playing a team with just a dominant defensive line, because it's going to be a long day for anybody playing quarterback for the Bengals. That offensive line is horrendous, man.
They got to play Cleveland at some point, don't they? Oh my God, they should just say we'll take the loss. We don't want anybody hurt.
They already played them once.
The next two guys are not to pick on your guys' fantasy teams because I own one of these guys on one of my fantasy teams. So whose fantasy team should
Sean's just putting my fantasy teams on the screen for the Panicometer? What the fuck?
All right. We'll go Jay. We'll go Jay and I's guy first. How about that? Brian Thomas Jr. 25 targets, 7 receptions, $115. He's averaging 16 yards a game right now. He does have that rushing touchdown. Since 2000, Brian Thomas's 28% catch rate is the lowest of any wide receiver to see 25 plus targets through 3 weeks. That's out of 522 receivers. He ranks 522. Now, the other problem with Brian Thomas has been his hands, the drops. He has dropped so many balls right in his hands this year. I'm going to say, because of the 25 targets, and I don't know where you are with this, Jay, but because of the 25 targets, he is still getting looks. So I'm gonna say, hey man, 25 targets, he's gonna eventually bust out. I'm gonna say my panic meter is about right now it's a 7. Right now it's a 7, and I'm hoping it drops.
I'm
25 targets and 7 catches, man. And the worst catch rate ever through 3 weeks.
It's going to get better. I'm a 5, and I can't make it a 0 because you can't deny those stats. But I will tell you this: he did have a wrist injury, which I think he's recovering from, and might even be like a full participant in practice. So I don't think he has any more of those wrist issues. I would also say this: I mean, you can't he didn't lose his speed, right? He didn't. The problem is the drop balls. If he caught those, I mean, his numbers would be fine. And I think also dealing with a new offense, I know the chemistry should already be there, but, there wasn't a whole lot of time spent between Lawrence and him last year. There was some time off, right? So I think they're still getting right. And I think this week he's going to do okay. I bet he's a double-digit scorer this week. I'm at a 5 because you got to keep an eye on it. I mean, I'm putting him in my starting lineup in both leagues, but I think he will eventually get back to the mean. He may not have the exact numbers he had last year, but it's going to start coming along for him. He's a good football player, dude. The way he runs his routes, he's open. That's the whole thing. Yeah. If he wasn't getting open, I would have a much bigger
Lawrence might be a problem.
I agree with Jason. I'm at a 5. I think that the drops will stop at some point. Obviously, not all of them, but I don't think he's going to drop 85% of his passes for the rest of the season. I think he'll get better there. And like you said, Sean, he's still getting targeted a bunch. They obviously are trying to run the offense through Brian Thomas. I think they're going to continue to do that. I think that's their best option. And the only thing that scares me a little bit about Brian Thomas is even if those drop numbers do get better, at some point, I think Travis Hunter's gonna come on in the scene here. I mean, I'm not saying Travis Hunter is the next Megatron here, but he should start to get better as an NFL wide receiver, and he's gonna take some of those targets away from Brian Thomas. But you know what? Maybe that'll take some of the attention away from Brian Thomas, and he'll I don't know, but I certainly think Brian Thomas is going to be much, much, much better in fantasy than he's been for you guys the first 3 weeks. I mean, this is like record-setting shit. He's a completely different player than he was last year. That's
you know what? The league that I have him is your brother's league, Kyle, and I'm 2-1 in that league, so I'm surviving. If he could pick it up, man, my team will be so much better.
I hope he has a real shitty week this week.
So now we're going to pick on Kyle a little bit.
They have a lot of weapons. Bashal Tootin is coming along. Etienne isn't playing too bad either. I think that team is literally just trying to figure out who the heck they are. Once they get it figured out, they're going to be just fine. I mean, they've got an offensive-minded coach.
There's
That
one guy
you know,
I'm worried about. Then that's Trevor Lawrence.
That's
I'm
the
not
one
sold.
guy I'm worried
I
about.
mean, it's 5 years, guys. I'm not sold. I'm not sold.
Here, before I put this guy up, my panic meter on him is probably the lowest of anybody on here.
Okay.
Maybe not. I mean, he might be tied with one other guy.
Okay.
I just want to know where you are when I put up these stats, Kyle. If you're panicked, if you're worried, or you're like, it's gonna get there and we'll be fine. Lad McConkey. Because 21 targets, 15 receptions, 163. Everyone else on the team is outpacing him right now. 6 touchdowns to the other 2 guys, no touchdowns, not getting the red zone looks. Lowest red zone targets on the team currently. Where's your panic meter, my friend, with your boy, Mr. Lad McConkey?
I'll answer that one, Sean, real quick. I just want to say what's up to Bishop23. I don't think I've ever seen that name before. It's just,
me either.
It's just Courtney Cronin is awesome.
Agreed.
I agree.
Really good reporter, does a really good job. And the NFL
100%.
players, and they like her because they give her a lot of information. They don't give a ton of other reporters. So she's become a huge part of that Bears locker room. But Sean, my panic meter for him is an 8 because I told you before the season started, I was when they signed Keenan Allen. I'm like, well, that's not good. Keenan Allen is a target machine. He always has been. And people just wrote Keenan Allen off because he was on the Shane Waldron Bears last year. I'm like, guys, this guy still has a lot of talent. He's good at getting open. And I think this is kind of how it's going to go for the rest of the season, Sean. I mean, I think you're going to have Lad McConkey games where they take Keenan Allen out of the equation or they take Quentin Johnson out of the equation, and they're just not good at covering the slot receiver, and Lad McConkey has big days. But I think for the most part, he's going to be kind of that 4 or 5 catches, 60, 70 yards kind of guy for the rest of the season. The good news for me, Sean, is I have Cortland Sutton on my bench, so you always got to have a backup plan. Right? And we're back in 3 weeks. Too, so.
I'm probably a 3 on him. Honestly, if you look at his target share, he's not that far off from the other 2 guys. The biggest knock is the red zone, right? Targets.
And the yards per target are real low, man.
Yeah, he'll get there though. He didn't turn bad all of a sudden. You know what I mean? It's just, if other guys are hot, you're going to keep throwing them the ball. I mean, that's what you're going to do. I don't think Keenan Allen's going to keep up this touchdown pace all year long. I know they're a good offense, but he's not going to be, a top 5 wide receiver all year long. He's just not going to.
You got this is the most ridiculous comment I've ever seen. Like Bishop, whoever did that, you need to slap them in the face.
Oh my God.
Somebody offered you McConkey for Bijan Robinson. That's insulting. That's insulting. Bijan Robinson is the best player in fantasy football. He's the best player. He's going to be the next Christian McCaffrey for the next 10 years.
I'm going to pick on myself next because I picked this guy to be my number 2. I bought into his offseason workout program, thought he bulked up, but I crapped the bed thinking that Kyler Murray would turn out to not be a piece of crap. But 17 targets, 10 receptions, $142, 1 touchdown, 47 yards per game. This is what's scary more. Out of 20 career games, 12 under 50, 3 over 75, 0 games with 6 receptions. He has 142 yards. Neighbors had $167 in week 2. I will tell you this. I benched him this week. So my panic.
He's going to have 10 receptions, 168 yards.
I benched him this past week, and I won. Yeah. And he's probably going to stay on the pine because I can't trust him because going into this week, my panic meter was already at 10 because I see the exact same shit I saw with him last year, and it is so scary that I wish I could trade him. I wish I could trade him. And no one wants that piece of crap.
You know what, Sean? You got to wait until he has one good game and then trade him. Get that value off the side as you can.
Stock is up.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if I can call it a panic meter because I was never really on him, and I don't know that you could really call him an elite receiver because he's never done anything.
He's never done one.
I think if you put him on a better team, that guy could be a destroyer of worlds. And by better team, I mean better quarterback. But
I agree.
He's got all the physical characteristics. He's got the brains. He's got the mental side of it.
No.
He looks like what you want your wide receiver to look like. We were talking about this in the preseason when we were, grading out all these rookies. He looks like if you were to draw it up on a computer, that's the guy you would draw, right? For Madden, if your guy's a wide receiver and that's the guy you want to be, that's the guy you're making. So I don't call it a panic meter because I don't think it's going to change. Until they change a quarterback, he's just not going to get the numbers he deserves.
My panic is a 9 for Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison, guys, we all know just from watching his game film in college, is a much better receiver than he's been given credit for in the NFL, and it's not his fault. I'm telling you guys, I've watched the Cardinals games when they're on. I think they're playing Thursday night, right? Not this week. So you guys, anybody who's at home, watch that game. Kyler Murray can't see over the offensive line. He can't. He only throws outside the pocket because he can't see anything in the pocket. And how many times, you guys, have we seen replays of Marvin Harrison wide open and he doesn't throw him the ball? It's my panic meter is high for Marvin Harrison because Kyler Murray sucks. And real quick, Sean, the comment on the screen here, Bishop says, would you trade Bijan for Allen and Bucky Irving, Keenan Allen? I would not, man. I would keep Bijan on my team. I think a lot of teams who win the championship in fantasy this year are going to have the name Bijan Robinson on them. So I would hold on to him for as long as I possibly can.
I hope so.
Remember, you guys, we got Chewy's Raider coverage in the house. Says, don't panic. Our secondary is trash and O-line is soft as cotton. Yeah. Chewy, thanks for joining the show, man. We really appreciate it. Please hit that like.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, I feel for you, man, because Bears fans have dealt with their fair share of poor offensive line play. And right now, your guys is just not good enough. It has not been good enough. And I just don't know if there's a quick fix it for the Raiders in that offensive line. But yeah, the Bears aren't really good at getting after the passer, but I think one of their best weeks getting after the passer will be against Las Vegas Raiders in week 4. But we do appreciate you joining the show, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for popping in.
This guy's going to probably be my lowest. And I'm going to say I took him out of my lineups last week, but he's going back in my lineup this week because it's a breakout week against Carolina for one Travion Henderson. 19 rushes, 65 yards, 3.4 yards per carry, 11 targets, 11 receptions, 73 yards, 6.64 yards per carry. The greatest thing I saw this Sunday was the continuous fumbles of Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson forcing
at the goal line.
Yes.
Like, dude, you cannot fumble that ball. Like, Sean, Travion's going to get playing time by default.
Yes.
Like, you can't continue to
so
get
excited for this.
Dude, has Stevenson not, maybe I'm just like overthinking it because has he not always had fumbling issues?
Yeah, he did last year.
He's always had.
Like, all right, this is who he is.
And Kyle, this is why going into the season, I was so excited for Travion Henderson because I was thinking to myself, there's no way this guy who got benched like 3 or 4 times last year for fumbling the ball was going to keep this guy off the field. Now, the first couple of weeks have looked a little scary.
Yeah, and Sean, when you bring up Travion Henderson, you talk about your panic meter, you could basically talk about any rookie running back in the NFL.
Yeah,
none of them have been absolutely outstanding. Right. Real quick, guys, breaking news, Bruce says the Cubs are up 5-0 against the Mets. That means the Mets have the Cubs exactly where they want.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, Sean, all the rookie running backs, including Travion Henderson, my panic meter is like a 2. I just think these guys just need to get
give them time.
And, guys, almost all of them, what's the thing you've heard about almost every single one of them, and the reason they're not getting much pass protection. That's something that could be taught.
The coach doesn't trust him in pass protection.
Yeah, if Travion, if you want to come and welcome to the NFL game, the Carolina Panthers are your best.
There you go.
That's your team. That's the team you got to beat up on.
I threw him this morning. I threw him back in all my lineups after giving him a week off.
Yeah,
we had a pep talk this week.
He will be playing against Scott in my matchup for sure.
Yeah, I would never panic on any rookie, especially if you think he's going to be good. Most rookies, and this is just historically, unless you're a quarterback, most rookies do better in the second half of the season than they do the first half of the season. So, if you got to stash them on your roster, I'm telling you right now, if you guys drop a rookie, someone in your league, unless they're all invalids mentally, somebody's going to pick up that rookie. So keep them on your roster. Don't get rid of them. They will come around. Even the average rookies still do better in the second half.
Yeah, the problem.
The same about this guy then.
I mean, I think he's going to have a fantasy relevant game against the Bears for sure.
And here, you want to see that bottom stat, Kyle? Because I forgot to bring that up. He's been hit behind the line 57% of his rush attempts, dude. That's insane.
That's not acceptable. Sorry, Chewy. We're not trying to rub it in, man.
No, no, this is insane, man. This is insane.
You guys, I agree with Jason 100%. I mean, you should expect rookies to be inconsistent. When I draft rookies in fantasy, I usually make sure I have my starting lineup, and then I stick a rookie on the bench. And I'm like, yeah, that'll be a nice weapon by week 8, week 9. But yeah, I think Jason's 100% right. See, the problem is you get guys like Malik Neighbors. So everybody thinks that everybody's going to be Malik Neighbors, and They're going to come in and have 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's just not the case, guys. These guys are all getting used to these new schemes, used to their teammates, used to the timing with the quarterback. Takes time. But I believe by the end of the season, guys, Quinshon Judkins, Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, I think they're all going to be very good players. I have not swayed on any of these guys. Not one.
Yeah, you got to give them time. And you guys hit it on the head. I think most of these coaches, and probably the O-line coaches, probably the offensive coordinators are saying, hey, this kid just isn't good enough in pass protection. We can't get blown up on these plays, so we got to put them on obvious running plays only, and even that limits them. You got to put in other guys so other defenses can't key in on that, that personnel change. But once they start picking stuff up, they start blocking, they know there are gap assignments on certain pass plays, you're going to start seeing them. The same with wide receivers. Wide receivers usually have a very good second half, and then their second year is usually their blowout year. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. might be a little bit of an exception here this year, but again, I think he's going to be just fine by the end of the year.
You guys, what does Ben Johnson say? No block, no rock.
That's right.
You don't block. Right. And let's face it, guys, the quarterback is always the most valuable asset on the field in terms of winning and
Ben's
money.
The running back, dude.
And if you can't protect him, I don't give a shit where they drafted you. If you can't go in there and help protect the quarterback, they are not going to put you on the field. But these guys will all get better in pass protection.
Kyle, and off subject really quick, I will say so far, Matthew Boyd has looked like Matthew Boyd. He is pitching
Sean, he's vying for a playoff start. That's what he's doing, man.
He looks good thus far. You know what, though? Maybe giving him a little bit of extra rest that they gave him really helped him. He looked a little fatigued.
Jeff brought up last night, Sean, and not to make this cup show, but he said, listen, I understand that Matthew Boyd's had his ups and downs, but you got to go off of what he's done in the playoffs. And he looked amazing in the playoffs last year. That's the Matthew Boyd I would expect. So he would be in my rotation. I'm like, that's a good point. It's a very good point.
Only got 3 games, man. Hopefully only 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the first series. And this is the last guy I have. I did 9. I did 9. I was going to do 10, but I took Trevor Lawrence off.
What's up, Trey?
I decided that he sucks.
Sean, real quick, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but just you guys, we have over 3,500 people watching the show live right now. We really appreciate you guys. If you're watching on Twitter, you guys, please go over to our YouTube channel, 4-Star Chicago Sports. Hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody in the chat here, please hit that like and subscribe button. And you guys, you're killing it in the chat as always, man. You guys have become so awesome, man. And keeping the conversation going. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. Please continue to leave chats here. Trey's in the house here, you guys. He says Caleb is dangerous when he gets in the rhythm. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Most quarterbacks are, though. I mean, that's usually what happens because that means they're
good
feeling
ones. Yeah,
they know how to run the offense now. The game is slowed down. It's what's surprising about Caleb is he's good and now he's getting better. Let's put it that way. He's getting better in rhythm, and he's amazing off a rhythm. So
I'm a better bartender when I'm in rhythm. I think when people start to gain confidence in anything in the world, they start to feel like they can't miss, right? Like I'll start throwing glasses around and doing.
Caleb with confidence is dangerous for the rest of the league, man. I won't say that.
That arm is scary.
That arm talent. Yeah. That was funny, dude. Go back to his interview today when they asked him about, he thought he was impressed with that throw. He was like, no, I think it was Courtney Cronin who asked him. She was like, how did you make that throw? And he just giggled and goes, that's pure arm talent.
Oh, dude, that one he made off of his feet where he jumped in the air and whipped it to Roma Dunze. I think it was Roma Dunze that play. Yeah,
in between a couple of wobbly passes
around the 3 Detroit defenders.
The one where he just jumped off in the air and just whipped it as hard as he could, and it got to like Dunze's knees. But the fact that the ball got there at all, there's not many guys in the NFL who can make that pass, man. There's just not.
Right.
Well, we got I wasn't going to put this guy on there when I thought Kirk Cousins was going to be the starter, but they announced that Penix was going to start again, which I'm okay with. I think Penix is going to be good eventually, but for us right now, Drake London, man, currently ranked 44th, 22 fantasy points overall, His target share is 17. His first read is 33, which is ninth, which is really, really good. But 27 targets, 16 receptions for $159, no touchdowns, and averaging 53 yards a game. He did get hurt in week 1 and was taken out of that game and did not come back. So
Sean, and if you take away that little stint that he missed in week 1, this guy's averaging 10 targets a game. Like my panic meter for Drake London is 0. I think Drake London, you guys, the good thing about all the people we've just talked about is there's a good chance everybody in fantasy has at least one of them, right? So at least we're all even. None of us can complain. Like, we're all pretty even. You know, Jason's got Brian Thomas. I've got Lab McConkey. Sean, you've got Martin Harris. Like, everybody's got one. But yeah, my panic meter for Drake London's just a target machine. And sooner or later, especially if they light a fire under Michael Penix's ass by putting Kirk Cousins in for a couple of quarters or maybe a game, I think that Drake London's going to be just fine.
And if Kirk Cousins winds up starting, I think he's going to be fine.
100%. I think he could be better.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I was praying. I'm actually just praying because I have Bijan, and I think that if Kirk Cousins is under center, I think Bijan goes from 15 fantasy points, 16 fantasy points to 25 fantasy points. So I was really, really hoping that Cousins was going to get the nod, and maybe he will if Penix struggles again, because at some point you got to say, is this going to be development, or are we costing ourselves our season?
Well, and you guys,
I don't know the ins and outs of Atlanta football, so I don't know.
The Falcons were never going to win that game. I said this to Jeff yesterday. Jeff's like, well, they were down by 20, 30 points, Kyle. They had to pass. I'm like, Jeff, they were getting more yards running the ball. They should have just kept running the ball. Like, dude, passing wasn't working. At least you could lose 30-10, right? I mean, you might as well run. Bijan was averaging like 6 yards a carry, and they put him on the bench for 2 drives.
Every time that guy touched the ball, I was like, oh, there's a fantasy point. Oh, there's a fantasy point. The problem was they were too far and few in between.
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of seems like that's becoming like a theme of his career, and it's not his fault. It's the coaching staff. You guys, Bijan should be touching the ball just as much as Saquon does. He should be touching the ball at least 3 times a drive.
Why they should take a look at what Indianapolis is doing with Jonathan Taylor and just do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, and one more before we get to this pick 6, and we put a bow on this. We got some 3-0 teams in the NFL really quick. And through 3 weeks, I know it's always, we did the 0-3 teams on Monday, so I just kind of wanted to reverse the trend. The Colts, the Bills, the Chargers, the Eagles, the Niners, the Bucks. I think, man, if you take the Colts off this list, the Niners are winning banged up. The Bucks are winning banged up. The Eagles are just the Eagles. The Bills are just the Bills. And the Chargers are who some people thought they were. How scary is it? Or let me ask you guys, when you look at these 6 teams, what is the best undefeated team on this list? Chat, chime in. Let us know what you're thinking.
I mean, until the Eagles lose, it's got to be the championship defenders. I mean, the Eagles are the best team in the NFL until they start losing. They look like they're picking up right where they left off last year when they won the Super Bowl. But yeah, Sean, the Colts, I think, are going to have a stretch where they run into some tough teams and they're going to lose a few games here. But the rest of those teams on there, I mean, these are the teams, guys, we all picked to make the playoffs. Outside of the Colts, none of this is surprising in any way, shape, or form. And there's some teams that are like the Ravens are 1-2, and they're still a very good team. It could be in the conversation with the teams you have on the screen here. But yeah, I expected all 3 of these teams to be pretty damn good football teams. And I'm not surprised at all outside of the Colts that any of these teams are 3-0. But if I had to pick the best outside of the Eagles, because I think the Eagles are just the obvious choice.
Yeah,
Josh Allen is one of the most dangerous players in football, and that team is just, if he's on the field, I mean, you guys look at that Ravens game. Yeah. Bills fans left the stadium. They left the stadium.
They did.
He scored 20 points in 5 minutes like he always does, and they won the game. Like, how have Bills fans not come to expect miracles out of Josh Allen? He's done it like 30 times now.
Yeah.
I would probably go for me: Eagles, Bills, Chargers, Bucks, Niners, Colts.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm right there. My biggest problem with San Fran is I know they got injuries, but losing Bosa for the year might be the most devastating injury they've had.
I forgot about that.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. They basically just lost their pass rush.
But they did draft 3 defensive linemen, and you expect those kids to get better as the season goes on too.
And the Colts, you don't know who the Colts are just yet. Is it a fluke team, or is it legit, worst to first type of team?
Guys,
I'll tell you what, the Chargers are.
They can't be this good. Daniel Jones can't be this good, guys. It's
Yeah,
not
but
possible.
what Jonathan Taylor is, though.
Can I tell you something about
I agree
the
with you,
Colts?
Jay. He's a B. When they have a good offensive line and they can and they're not stacking the box, Jonathan Taylor might still be the best running back in the NFL.
Oh my
Tyler
God.
Warren, they've got weapons on there too. I mean,
And
I don't think they're at that good, and they're not going to be undefeated by the end of the year. I can guarantee you that. They'll lose some games this year too, but they're in a really weak division too.
Yeah, I mean, they got the division by the balls now.
here, I'll tell you, if they can somehow win in LA, they got the Raiders, Cardinals, then they're at the Chargers. That's going to be tough. But then they get the Titans, Steelers, Falcons into their bye. I mean, they could be looking at 2 losses going into their Week 11 bye. I mean, losing at the Chargers and then losing at the Ravens.
They're going to be the Vikings 2 years ago, where they go
They
like
could be.
14-3, and then they're knocked out of the playoffs in the first round
Yeah.
because they play an actual talented football team. Like, I'm sorry, guys. Call me an idiot because they're 3-0 and they've actually looked pretty damn good doing it. And they set the record for the most drives without punting. But I can't buy into Daniel Jones. I can't. Relentless Mikey says, don't believe in Danny Dimes.
Danny Diamonds now. Indiana Jones is really who it. No, look, he's probably going to make a long run and fumble a ball or trip over his own feet like he has before. He will. I say this a lot about a lot of players, especially on Tuesdays and darts. Sean will tell you, a lot of these players, they just have good games or good streaks, and then eventually they come back down to the mean, to the average, where they are.
Yeah.
We have enough tape and enough stats on Daniel Jones to say exactly who he is. Daniel Jones has been in the league for a while now. His first year, Eli Manning was still in the league. That's who he replaced in New York. So he's been around for a while.
I mean, he instantly left Brian Dable and became Josh Allen, man. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
The guy's running, passing, juking. Like, there was one thing I forgot to bring up with the Brian Thomas thing. And so Shane Waldron, okay,
Oh, God.
is now in Jacksonville. Tell me he's not the NFL's biggest curse. He leaves the Rams. Cooper Kupp instantly breaks out. He leaves Seattle. JSN instantly breaks out. He leaves Chicago. Rome is breaking out. And now he's in Jacksonville, and Brian Thomas regresses.
I don't know. Eberflus might be a bigger curse at this point.
I'm just saying, maybe there's a coincidence with these particular incidents.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Is he calling plays though, or is that coach?
Liam Cohen will take over the offense if
Yeah.
if it continues to not look right. He eventually will take over. So there's only so much damage Shane Waldron can do. Yeah, but how that guy continues to get jobs in the NFL is pretty sad.
All right, boys. We're gonna do this pick 6 and wrap this up. Unless y'all got
All right, guys. Everybody in the chat, we need your picks here, guys.
Giddy up.
Giddy up. Here we go. We're going to do Minnesota and Pittsburgh in Ireland, 8:30 a.m. So get your lineups in. Get your lineups locked with Minnesota and Pittsburgh players, my friends.
Who's the starting quarterback for Minnesota? Is it still
Carson Wentz? It's going to be Carson Wentz versus Aaron Rodgers.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh because Aaron Rodgers loves the lights.
I'm going Pittsburgh.
Kyle Pitt. Kyle Pitt. Jay Pitt.
CTI Pitt, breaking news Bruce Pitt, AC Adam Pitt.
Hold on, Pitt. Well, we're all gonna match because I'm going Pitt too.
Where you at, Mikey?
Yeah, Mikey, who you got, buddy?
Who'd you say, Vizzo Joe? Did he? AC?
I don't know who's still in here, but Mikey's definitely still here, so we're waiting on him. But yeah, AC Adams Pitt, breaking news Bruce is Pitt, Camel Toes. These guys are all Steelers.
Camel Toes Pitt.
You don't have it. What? Mikey said Minnesota.
Oh, that a boy.
Mikey going to that's how you move up the Cadillac board, Mikey.
I just, you guys, the Bengals shot listen, Minnesota looked good, but the Bengals shot themselves in the foot that entire
I agree 100%.
game. Like, and Carson Wentz ended up with like 125 yards or something like that, and they score 40 points. Pittsburgh's
defense won that game.
Pittsburgh's defense is getting better. They're starting to look more like Pittsburgh's defense, which is weird the way they started the season. I'm like, this is not a Mike Tomlin defense. What are we watching? But they're starting to look better.
We only lost Vizzo Joe. So
and Mikey, I just can't stand the thought of Vikings starting out 3-1.
And we're gonna give you this one, Mikey, because you actually already called this out. It'd be interesting to see if anyone goes against you, Mikey. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay.
Philly.
Yeah, man. Ooh.
The injuries, you guys, the injuries
Philly-
for Tampa are mounting.
Yeah, they
They're
still have, like,
mounting.
Luka, yeah. Philly's just a better team. So
No
I'll
Mike
go Philly.
Evans, no tackles, no guards. I mean, they're injured. Yeah, you're still missing. Is Chris Godwin's not back, right?
He should be coming back soon.
They said he might come back this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need him. Sean, breaking news:
They
Bruce,
need
Philly, CTI, Philly, Relentless Mikey, Philly.
Philly. Jay, you have Philly too?
Yeah, I may have to call one different here now.
AC has AC.
Has Pitt. No, wait.
What's up, Dante Purified?
Camel
Yeah, AC.
Toe.
We got.
Camel Toast, Philly. I didn't see AC. Did AC come through?
No, not yet.
Yeah, Adam, where you at, man? We got Philly and Tampa on the docket. What do you got, brother? Or maybe sister? I don't know.
I am going to pick an upset in this next game.
Yeah, Mikey, we got your Vikings pick, bastard. I hate the Vikings.
Well, AC, if you pop back on here, we got Philly, Tampa, and the next one we're staying in the NFC North. Cleveland.
Sean, you're picking Tampa? Did I hear that?
No. I'm taking Philly. I'm taking Philly. I got Bears, Pitt, Philly so far, but this is where my upset's going to come in. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns to upset the Detroit Lions in Detroit this week.
Ooh, you know what? I already saw the
Sean,
stats,
AC Adams got Philly.
Oh, that a boy, AC. Dang it.
Philly.
Bruce
Here,
has the Browns.
I'm going to tell you, it looks very impossible the way Detroit has looked. But I'm going to say Detroit coming off the short week, the high of upsetting the Ravens. Now, look, they're 10-point underdogs. This is like I'm throwing the fish.
Yeah, I think you're smoking. I don't know what
I'm
you're smoking.
throwing the thing out there in the middle of the lake and hoping I catch a whale here. But
Sean, Bruce has the Browns.
One of those freshwater whales.
CTI has the Browns. I have
you know what?
Lions.
I'm going to take Detroit.
I have the Lions. Good. Mikey has the Lions. Jay has the Lions. Samo, how you doing, brother? Thanks for joining the show, man.
Jay.
Samo.
He says Detroit destroys the Browns. Yeah, I mean, you guys, the Ravens destroyed the Browns, and the Lions just beat the shit out of the Ravens.
Here, Kyle. The only reason, like I just told Jay, the only reason I'm doing it, short week, the high off of that Titanic game versus the Ravens, and then overlooking the Lions, overlooking them, looking ahead to the Bengals and the Chiefs, saying, it's Cleveland. We'll just.
Oh, man, they just beat their division rivals, so I don't know how much they're going to be overlooking them. And then Sean, AC Adams got Cleveland. He's also
got Cleveland.
I mean, the only thing is they have a pretty.
I was going to be an island by myself.
You guys, what I like about the Lions
Cleveland does to Green Bay, and Green Bay beat Detroit. No, so.
Yeah, what I like about the Lions, guys, or I shouldn't say I like it because I don't like the Lions, but it just seems like no matter what defensive line they're playing, the best defensive lines in the NFL, their offensive line always overpowers the defensive line. Always.
Look, I don't know how they're going to do it, or even if they're going to do it.
Jared Goff's hurt on the first play. That's the only way they do it.
To be different. I was
Sean, you're not, because there's
I know
there's a lot of people who agree with you, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We're gonna go to the juggernaut for game number 5. Baltimore coming off the heels of the loss at home versus Detroit, visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, 325 game of the week. Who's everyone picking?
You guys, can you believe that either the Ravens or Chiefs are going to be 1-3?
Yeah, right.
One of them is going to be
defense is awful. I mean, horrendous. I'll use that word again. Abyssal. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on that.
Jay's going with KC. Okay.
Sean, where's that game?
It's in KC. Mikey has Baltimore. Okay.
This is the toughest game on the docket. For sure.
Yeah, this is tough. I still don't know which way I want to go in this game, because I feel like Baltimore's roster is better right now.
But they give up points on D. Like, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They give up a lot of points. They're not stopping anyone.
I'm going to go Baltimore.
Ravens.
Good.
AC Adams going Ravens. Campbellton Spector's going Ravens. Mikey's Ravens.
Am I the only Chiefs?
Kyle, you're KC?
No, I'm the Ravens, man.
Ravens.
Oh, Samuel's the Chiefs.
Samuel's got the Chiefs. Samuel, you got to do the rest now, bud. Breaking news, Bruce. Ravens.
Oh, now I know I'm right.
You're a dick.
I'm messing with you, Bruce.
I you know what? I'm going to be different with Jay. I don't know how. I don't know how to pick this game. Hey, man, I picked Cleveland for the love of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
There's a loss hanging over me here. This game is tough, though, man. This is a. I mean,
Sean, is that prime time?
No, it's 325.
Right. Yeah, I'm
and
going
the
Ravens.
Chiefs are 3-point dogs. The Chiefs are 3-point dogs at home, which is crazy to me. I'm going to take that insult. Andy Reid, I'm going Kansas City. Kansas City is going to be like, you're going to make me a 3-point dog at home at Arrowhead. Let's do this.
I mean, it's a good matchup for the Chiefs because they're good at stopping the run. And
Yeah.
Derrick Henry could beat you. But the Ravens 1-3, I just don't see it, man.
We're definitely going to have a shakeup in the standings, my friends.
And you guys, I think
gets it right, then it's going to be a
the
long day for Kansas City.
I think the Chiefs need all three of Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, and Travis Kelce. I think the second you're missing one of those pieces, it just doesn't look the same, man. It just doesn't look the same.
And I don't know which game to pick last here. You got the Giants. I'm not picking Dallas and Green Bay. I would usually stick in the North, but that to me is a gimme. I mean, it really is.
You guys, I'm sorry, but if the Packers lose to the Browns and the Cowboys back to back, they are not a good football team. They're not a good football team. Like, you can't lose to the Browns and the Cowboys because neither of those teams are going to have good records at the end of the season. You cannot lose to those two teams back to back. I'm taking the Packers.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do Indy and the Rams. The Indy's 3-0. They're visiting the Rams in LA. LA coming off the heels of blowing that game where they dominated Philly for most of it.
Rams.
I'm going to go Indy.
I'm going to
go Jones. Taco Jones.
Sean, breaking news, Bruce has the Colts.
Attaboy, Brucey.
I'm going to go Rams too. I'm going to go Rams.
Wait, did we pick the Packers game or no?
No, he decided on the Colts game.
Dude, if the Packers should whoop them as bad as the
everybody's taking the Packers. There's no point to doing that.
Yeah,
Sean Samo has the Rams. Mikey has the Colts. Camel Toe Inspector has the Rams.
Colts
or the Hams.
I love this. I'm picking the right games because they're very diverse.
AC Adams got the Colts.
And for you guys that don't know, we're gonna do a full season of this, the Pick Six, and I'll tell you what. After the show on Wednesday, I'll start posting them on our Facebook page, the 6 games. So if you're not here, hit it up in that post, and I'll put you on the Cadillac board.
Yes, Samuel, I agree with you, man. If Matthew Stafford's healthy, I mean, the Rams should have beaten the Eagles. And I know people, I guess, should have, could have, would have, but a blocked field goal that's not Matthew Stafford's fault. That's not Puka Nakua's fault. It's not Kyron Williams' fault. The Rams played well enough to beat the best team in the NFL, and they should be pissed off about the way that game ended. So I'm definitely going Rams over. And the Colts are going to fall off at some point.
For who, the Rams?
Yeah, Rams.
I picked Indy.
Indy, okay. I didn't write you down here.
Indy, cover your
heart. Hey, Samo, if you're here, bro, give me a winner for Bears Vegas, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Philly, Tampa, and the Lions and the Browns. Because I got you for the Ravens and the Rams. So Bears, Pittsburgh, Mini, Philly, Tampa.
Sean, Samuel's got the Bears. CTI's got the Bears as well. Camel toe.
I got Camel toe. I got you 28-17 Camel toe for the Bears.
Samuel's got the Vikings.
The Queens. Okay, that's 4. We got Philly, Tampa, my friend. And if you want to give a score for the Bears game, I think I might find a small price for weekly for closest to the score.
He's got the Eagles. He's got Philly.
Eagles, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which game are we missing here? Browns, Lions.
Thanks, AC Adam. We
Thanks,
appreciate it,
AC
man.
Nate.
Sean started this, and I'm enjoying every second of it. This is
Oh,
really
yeah, I love
fun
it.
picking these games, man. The hope is that one day there's so many people in the chat, you guys have to go to our Facebook page and do it because we can't. Sean Samuel's got the Lions.
The Lions. All right, we got everyone's pick 6.
No,
don't even
CTI.
think
That
I
was
put-
CTI. That was my daughter, brother. That wasn't a kid. I don't have any cats. That was my daughter. She said good night.
I don't even think I don't even think I put this up, but I made a little fancy thing for it too. 4 Stars Weekly Pick 6, baby. Let's go.
Sean, you're really liking that Bucks old logo there, huh?
I love the old Bucks logo, dude. I love their old orange uniforms. I'll be honest. I like the Buccaneers as an organization. They're probably one of my favorite teams. I mean, obviously below the Bears and the Buffalo Bills, but
You're
I
just
really
waiting for when
like
you
Tampa
retire
Bay.
to Florida.
Oh God, I would be a huge Tampa Bay fan.
Sean, you see the score there?
31-20.
I got it on the screen. Samuel's got it.
31-20. 31-20.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for joining in on this, man. This is what makes it so
Yes.
fun. And I hope you guys, somebody in the chat here wins. Either way, we're going to send somebody some stuff. So we appreciate you guys.
I'm a swashbuckler. And guys, just so you know, I've been slipping on this, but I'm going to get working on it tomorrow. I didn't even realize. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, holy crap, the Redskins game is coming up so gosh darn quick. We're going to get something together for a watch party at River Street Tavern, 102 North River Street in East Dundee, Illinois. We'd like to hang out with y'all. We're missing Phil tonight.
Is that a Monday night game?
It's a Monday night. It's a Monday night game.
He
They're
left.
still here?
He was here. He left,
was
but
here?
he was here. Yeah.
I'd like to get you guys, if you guys are in Chicago or in our area within, 30, 40 minutes, come on by, man. I know Phil took a 50-minute drive to come hang out with us at our last one, and it was awesome to meet him. We met a whole bunch of guys that are in the chat last time, and we'd like to continue to expand on that. When we come on the show on Monday, I'm going to have details. And
Yeah, but just know, guys, if all 3,500 of you show up, that the service is not going to be this easy.
we quit.
Yeah, and real quick to that point, everybody on Twitter, man, thank you so much for joining the show, guys. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, really awesome.
Please go over to that YouTube channel, 4 Star Chicago Sports, and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Sean, what do you got?
We got the Bears and the Vegas Raiders this Sunday, 325. Don't miss it. Vegas 1.5 point favorites. Put your money on the money line. Bears are taking his ball game from the Raiders, getting Ben Johnson's first dub on the road. I can't wait.
Mikey says East Dundee. Jeez, why don't we just go to Wisconsin?
What town do you live in, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm in McHenry, Mikey. So I am pretty. I could throw a stone to Wisconsin.
Sean and I are in towns you've never heard of before.
Yeah, I live in Gilbert's. So
that's right, CTI. Let's go 2-2, baby. Let's do it.
No,
just win, baby.
2-2. Bears are gonna make it 2-2.
Just win, baby. Who said that, guys? Sean,
yeah, that's a cruise, man. But come on through. It's a really good time if you can make it. I know it's a Monday night. You got to work on Tuesday. I completely get it.
Sean's Ubering everybody home.
Yeah, I'll Uber everybody home. I'd love to meet you guys.
Yeah, we need all 3,500 to show.
Yeah. Everyone's in an Uber. Can I get the bus, please?
Al Davis. That's right, CTI. Just win, baby.
But guys, don't forget tomorrow, Burn the Midnight Oil with Brandon and Dustin. They'll be on. They're going to give their predictions on the Bears and the Raiders, 11:30. And if you can't join them at night, join them on your way to work, man. They're a lot of fun. Going to give you a different perspective than we did tonight. Kyle and I will not be on Saturday this week, unfortunately. My Saturday and Friday and Saturday are screwy this week. Where are you from, Samo? So we're gonna try and get something out. We may do a Friday show and release on Saturday. We haven't kind of thought that process through yet, but we'll see what happens with the Cubs over these next couple of games and if they're in San Diego, because I had them winning on Saturday in the first series, but now that they've blown this 5-game lead against San Diego, they've blown the division, they've blown home field advantage. Thank God they can't blow their wild card berth, or they'd probably give that up too, for the love of Christ.
In their defense, Kyle Tucker is their best player, man. I mean, this is to be when you're missing your best
Cade
player.
Horton's getting an MRI too, isn't he?
Cade Horton is getting an MRI on his back. Hopefully, hey, I'll tell you this: if Cade Horton's out, Cubs are done. Stick a fork in them. They're done. They're
100%.
Hey, this just sucks, man.
Sean, he lives in Hyde Park.
Oh yeah, Samuel, that's a long drive, brother.
That's a haul. That's a haul, dude.
You know what? If you come, Samo, your first 2 beers will be on me. But then I don't want you to drive. I don't want you to drink too much because that's a long drive back home. So, but we'd love to meet you guys, and we're gonna get this done, especially because we think the Bears are gonna be 2-2, and I think everyone will be hyped. Don't forget, we raise money for charity at these events. And I just looked it up. Hyde Park to East.
Everything we get, we go give the charity.
Yeah.
No, not in Chicago. It's not, Sean. It is when you're looking at
Chicago
at 8:45 p.m. It's 40 minutes. If he's coming for the game, it's going to be a lot longer. 40.
Yeah, and you know what the deal is if we don't get to see you, hopefully join us on the air. We're going to do a little pregame show, probably about 6-ish, maybe. But we'll have all the details come Monday. I'm going to start working on this tomorrow. Start finding some items to give away, raffle off. Bears charity. Raising money for people that are less fortunate than us is always something that warms my heart. So let's get it done, and let's go Bears.
For Mikey, it's Bears Care charity, brother.
Yeah, Bears Care. Yeah, we have
CTI says I live in California. I can't make it, boys. Yeah, we wouldn't.
That's a quick drive, dude.
Yeah, that would be impressive.
That's a quick drive. Come on. Hold on 1 second.
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay!
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Yes, sir!
I love the yes, sir at the end.
Yeah, he's like the weakest voice in the guy holding the phone stinks.
You want to know what else is pretty funny too? Is that well, not funny, which is going to be great for the Bears. Is that Monday night game will be the return of TJ Edwards and Kyler Gordon. So.
Hopefully, yeah. Real quick, guys, thank you so much for joining the show, guys. We appreciate you. Everybody, take care of yourselves so you can take care of each other. And Mike, CTI, Mikey is really pushing for you to come to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Southwest Airlines, baby. We need to get away. Isn't that Southwest Airlines?
Isn't that the one that's crashing planes like it's going to style?
What's up, Brucey?
What's up, guys?
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
Yes, thank you for all the viewers, man. All the Twitter viewers. Everybody was awesome today.
Yeah.
Go Bears.
Until next week, everybody. He goes, I fly Spirit. Oh boy. Oh God. My last favorite Spirit flight. I lost my luggage and I was sleeping on my coat in the airport. Waiting to find it.
No.
That's the spirit. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys.
All right, boys and girls. We love y'all. Bear down, everybody.
Yeah, let's go Bears.